Hi, welcome to this series of tutorials. I will explain how to use Unity in a basic form. You will learn how to use objects, scripts, components, and how to write some scripts. And we will create a little game to exemplify how to implement things in Unity. So first thing, you should go on Unity's website. You go here on Developer Tools and you download the Unity Hub. Unity Hub is a tool where you can manage the projects and the version of Unity you have installed in your computer to start creating. This is the Unity Hub software. Here you have projects, installs, learn, and community. You can explore this later. Here you have some Unity tutorials. Here you have some community forums pages over here. This is the project page. This is where you have, or this is where you access all your games. In the install page, you will have the Unity that you are currently using. You can have multiple versions, but here is where you select the version you want to install. So if you want to install a new Unity, you go here on Install Editor, and then you choose this version over here. For the kind of work we are going to do in these classes, I really don't need a LTS version. So you click here and click on install. Mine is gray because it's already installed. I will show you with this one. And in this window, you need to select, you can remove documentation. You really don't need this unless you don't have internet. And you select here Microsoft Visual Studio Community, whatever the number it is. You select this one and then you continue. So this will install this version of Unity and this version of Visual Studio. Unity is to make the game, Visual Studio is to write the scripts you need. So once the Unity is installed, you will have here this selection. On projects, if you have projects from older versions, this warning shows up here. But currently I have 1.24 F1. So if I want to upgrade this to my new version, I just go here and update, open with the version I have and change version. And you can do this, but if you have something that is very specific for the version you had, for example, I did something with a very specific script that only works on version 15. Well, I should install version 15 and work with that. It takes some time to import a project. It depends on how big the project is, but sometimes it takes several minutes. Basically, the computer is importing all the things it needs and is recompiling all the scripts. So once the game is imported, I have no errors here, so that's okay. It has here some experimental package in use, but it didn't give me any errors, so probably this is working okay. I will close. So this window, this Unity app, is the software that can handle your projects and your Unity versions installs. To start a new project, we will just click on this button over here which says new project, and then we can select a lot of options here. Because our first project will be a 2D game, a basic 2D game, just for you to experiment with Unity, let's select here 2D, and then we need to give a name. Let's say shoot the aliens. This is the game we are going to do. Shoot the aliens. And we will select a location for our project folder. So here I go to desktop because of these videos, and I will create the game in the desktop. Create projects, and Unity is starting to add some files that Unity needs to open an empty project, and it starts to import those files. It will take some time, and as you can see, I have already here the folder that contains the files for this project. One thing that is a little bit weird, but is not weird, it's just the way it is. If you are editing something for graphic design, you have the Illustrator or the Photoshop file, and you can open that file and you open the project and you are editing that project. In Unity, that doesn't happen. You don't have a Unity project file. You have a folder that contains all the files that Unity needs to create the game. But you don't really have a file that is a project. What do you do with these folders inside? You cannot change this. The only thing you can change here is the assets folder, where you are going to have all the things you need to program your game. But aside of this, these are things that Unity needs to work. You don't touch them, and you add here all the things you need to create your game. If you need to move your project to another computer or to save a backup in another disk, you just copy this folder entirely to the backup location, and you keep this secure as one folder. By default, Unity comes like this. This is your Unity in your computer. I will explain you why I have this changed and why I prefer the other arrangement, because it's, in my opinion, easier to use. If you are a first-time user, just do it, because you will start using Unity that way and for you will be normal. If you already are used to this layout, you will see my tutorials are a little bit different, but that's okay. So you have here these windows. Okay, and these windows are, at least these ones are the most important ones, are the ones that you are constantly working with. So you have the scene, the game. This is where you do the things. This is what the camera is seeing. The inspector is the window where the properties of any object that you are working on will appear. This project window shows your folder and your files. The console will show you errors if you have some, or if you want to print something in the console, you can do it. And then you have here the hierarchy, where you have your scene, your current scene. I prefer to have this window over here. Sorry, you can click on the name of the window and drag and try to find where it locks, So I want this next to the inspector. I want the project below the hierarchy and the console below the scene. Why I like to use this view? Because you work mainly with these three windows and they are here next to each other, so it's easy to select an object. Well, main camera, add some properties here, go here to grab something, so you are constantly working on these three windows. You go here to draw something, to change something in the space, but normally you are clicking here. The console should be visible all the time. I see many tutorials where the console is not visible. If you have an error, it shows here and you should see it as soon as possible. The project window, it's divided on these two columns. I really don't like this because I don't know. I prefer this layout, one column layout. It's a waste of space to have big icons to show things that can have the proper name and you know where it is. This is the main interface we are going to use in these tutorials. The scene window shows what you have. The game window shows what the camera is seeing. The hierarchy shows the scene you are currently working on. Inspector will show the selected object, the properties of the selected objects and other things. And the project shows the files you have in your project. So if you have some music, or if you have some 3D object, or if you have some textures, the things will appear in this side. Let's just, before going to the next tutorial, let's just go here on assets. This assets folder is that, let's go here, show in Explorer. This is that asset folder that I created. So desktop is the folder of the game. It has the name of the game. If you open, you have these things that Unity needs. Don't touch them. And here you have the assets folder. Inside this you have everything you need for your game. In this case we have a scene, which is this one. Okay. And the scene file is this file over here. Okay. So you don't have any project file. You open the project by selecting. You open the project by selecting the folder in Unity Hub. This is a different way of handling these files if you are used to software that has a project file. Let's, inside the assets, create a new folder, create folder called scripts. Okay, and inside this script we will create a new C# script. This is, we can read this as C# script. And before clicking enter, change the name. I will explain this why later, but let's name it as hello with capital letter in the beginning, and then we press enter. So now we have two files in our project, the sample scene file and the hello script file. If we click twice here, it will open automatically. It should open Visual Studio. So it's working. I have here the, let me zoom in a little bit. Okay, I will just print hello. Save, Control S or Command S if you are on a Mac. You don't need to close Visual Studio, just go on Unity. If you save the file, you go in Unity, it will detect that it changed and imports again. It's imported, it's here, see, the text is here. I cannot change the text here, I need to go to Visual Studio. But now I have here my file. So if I drag my file, for example, to the camera, my camera now has here the script. I will hit play and I should see an hello over here in the console. Yes, hello. On the next tutorial I will explain how to understand the scripting language and the syntax and the structure, and we will start to make something happen here. So if you have any questions related with these things I show here, just leave the question in the comments and I will try to explain if I can.